planting a crop that is perhaps not often grown in the vegetable garden, though we've featured a different variety of it in our butterfly garden. This is fennel, or Feniculum vulgare, and we plant the bronze fennel, which is a little bit more ornamental, in our butterfly garden because it's a host plant for swallowtails. This is another variety that is a bulbing variety, so it produces an edible bulb, and the plants are in the carrot family, which you can kind of tell by looking at that nice feathery foliage, and they're very beautiful. So they're a great plant if you have an edible ornamental landscape. Fennel makes a wonderful addition there, and you can eat so many parts of the plant. The foliage is a spicy aromatic. You can use that in your cooking or in your salads. As I mentioned, it produces a bulb, which is not really a true bulb, it's actually the flattened base of the stems. And those have an anise flavor. And even the seeds, anybody who's had Italian sausage with those little seeds in it, that's the fennel seed, and they give it a very distinctive flavor. So many different uses for our fennel plants. Now I'm going to set these out in the garden, and they don't take up a lot of space, but they're fairly competitive for water and nutrients. So I like to set them at about a 1-inch spacing. They're also very tall. Fennel grows to about 3 to 4 feet in height. So you want to make sure to keep that in mind when you're setting your plants out. So here I'm putting it towards the back of my garden, and I have 3 little seedlings that are all wrapped up together. I want to gently try to tease those apart because they are fairly sensitive plants. Now fennel, I suppose one reason people don't grow it very often is that it's not the easiest plant to grow. It can be very finicky to the weather and to fluctuations in water. So it's not the easiest plant to grow, but once you've harvested some fresh fennel, you'll certainly agree that it's worth the effort. So I mentioned that it can be a little challenging. One of the things that we need to worry about is bolting. So bolting is when a plant prematurely sends up a flower stalk, and this happens with fennel for a variety of reasons. One can be high temperatures, and so to try to get an advantage over the temperatures, it's a good idea to start your fennel seeds indoors about 4 to 6 weeks before the frost-free date for your area, and then once the weather's safe, which is a little late this year for us, we could get them out into the garden. And that just gives them a little bit of a head start on the heat. They take about 80 to 90 days to mature, so that gives us a bit of a start over the hot weather. We're also going to try a fall crop with our fennel, so if the heat doesn't allow us to get a spring crop, we'll try again by putting in a fall crop. Another reason that fennel can bolt, I mentioned they're rather sensitive, and that includes the roots. So when your plants, if there's weeds coming in, you want to keep them free of competition, but really be very gentle and hand weed around the base rather than using tools, just so you don't disturb that root and cause the bolting. And then the third thing that causes the plants to bolt is going to be fluctuations in soil moisture. So you want to keep your plants evenly wet. Regular irrigation, don't allow the soil to dry out between irrigating, because that's going to initiate that bolting. So a little bit of a challenging crop, but definitely worth the effort. I mentioned that they're fairly heavy feeders, so you want to go ahead and give it a slow release fertilizer at the time of planting. Now your plants will be ready to harvest when the bulb is about 3 inches in diameter or slightly larger. Don't let them go too long or they'll bolt, you guessed it. So certainly we'll check back on our fennel and see how they do in a couple of months.